Well, let's bring in business reporter Alexis Christoforous for more on this. Alexis, the Biden administration had already directed the Department of Energy to release another 10 million barrels from the country's strategic petroleum oil reserve. So how much will that actually help, and how sustainable is that approach?
You know, tapping the Strategic Petroleum Reserve is really only meant for emergency situations. For instance, if we just didn't have enough oil to meet demand. That's not the issue right now. The issue is higher prices with a midterm election just 5 weeks away. So it seems as though the tapping of the reserve is more to manipulate prices than it is to get us out of a hole when it comes to oil. When we do tap the reserves again next month for those 10 million barrels, which, as you say, were already set before the OPEC decision, reserves in the SPR will be at their lowest level since 1984. It's not at the level where we need to worry, but you can't keep going back to an emergency reserve for a long-term issue. This will probably give us some relief in the short term. It is not a long-term solution.
So what options does the president have right now to help keep gas prices reasonable?
There are very few options. One thing he could do is hold back inventory and not send oil to Europe. You know, not a lot of people realize the U.S. is a huge exporter of oil as well. He's already promised Europe that if they put a ban, and they're going to, on Russian oil come December, he's there to help fill that gap. If he takes that off the table now, that's going to look bad on the world stage. Another thing they're planning to do or thinking about doing, going back to Venezuela, which is a very controversial decision, lifting some sanctions on Venezuela in return for that government to talk to the political opposition about bringing democracy back to Venezuela. This would allow Chevron and some other U.S. companies to go there and to drill for oil.
Now, I want to talk about that domestic oil production, because earlier this morning I asked the special presidential coordinator for, I want to get his title right, for energy security. And I asked him about the criticism that the president has faced from some that he has either hampered or not done enough for domestic oil production. I want you to hear his response and then get your reaction.
The Biden administration has given all the tools necessary for the American industry to increase production. The talking points about the president doing something to hinder American industry, that's coming from political circles. That's not coming from the industry.
So he's saying this is a political criticism. It's not actually an oil industry criticism. So what are industry leaders saying about that?
Right. So that comment is not exactly accurate. The past few weeks, we've seen the Biden administration come out lashing against big oil companies. ExxonMobil making $18 billion from May to July alone. And some are saying we should have a windfall tax on those companies' earnings. He's asking those companies to pass along the savings they're seeing along to consumers. The industry itself, big oil companies, have come out against President Biden and have called his energy policies contradictory. So that is the oil industry itself, not politics, talking back to the Biden, pushing back against the Biden administration.
Now, the monthly unemployment report comes out tomorrow. What can we expect to see there?
Oh, this is going to be a big one for the Federal Reserve. We're looking to see if there are signs that the tight labor market is starting to loosen up. We're going to look for wage increases. We know that's inflationary. We did get a bit of data this week that shows there could be some cracks in the job market. The number of openings, job openings, fell by more than 1 million. That's telling us that companies may be starting to slow down their hiring, and that actually, ironically, could be good on the inflation front, might actually force the Federal Reserve not to be as aggressive with those interest rate hikes.
All right, Alexis Christoforous, we appreciate it as always. Thank you.
Sure.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.